Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to Just the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Morgan. With me today is my handsome and talented co-host, Joshua Shugu Bevan. Would you care to explain, sir?
Oh, boy. Shugu. It's rubber cement.
Is this a product or something you've invented yourself?
No, Shugu. It's the name of the product.
You can find it and buy it places, not just something you make in your basement or whatever?
Yeah.
Out of your victims, out of flesh and liquid from your victims? No?
No. It's on the shelf. It's
What
on
shelf, Joshua? On the shelf in your basement?
This is my cover. I come on a true crime podcast just
to accidentally trip and say Shugu. Yeah.
I was repairing my son's cleats. Shoes are not made very well anymore. Even the expensive ones are cheap and cheaply made. And he's not even the real season hasn't even started for football. We're still in preseason, and the sole of his shoe is leaving the bottom of his shoe, so it looks like a puppet or something.
It's waving at you.
Yeah, and so I got in there with the shoe glue and repaired it. Glued it back together, but then it gets on your hands, and you kind of do that thing like some of us did in elementary.
Some of us nerds is what you're trying to say. Uh-huh.
And you kind of peel.
I loved making my own palm print. Yeah. Probably early, form of, fingerprint technician.
I'm saying I missed out. I didn't do that then. I was looking.
But now as an adult, you can Shugu yourself. Yeah. Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Are these the cleats you got at Big Five?
Yes.
Do you need me to go rattle some cages in management and say you sold my friend a shitty product?
No, I mean, I feel like it's all of them. I feel like it's just the way that shoes are made, and they're cheap, even though they're
more
not
expensive, right?
But they're and teenage boys wear the shit out of shoes,
of course,
and I
get that
he's working hard. I mean, this is evidence of him working hard and playing really hard and practicing, and
that's just a bummer.
Yeah. It'll work. They are now stronger than they were.
Right. Okay.
And they have a few days to dry and cure. And I hope they'll last way more now, and they'll go for the rest of the season.
I'm amazed at all the stuff you know. I mean, I feel like you're way beyond like a Boy Scout or an EMT or a paramedic or whatever. Like how to fix everything.
I prefer to fix stuff than to go throw it out and buy a new one. If it's fixable, I prefer. Yeah, the other thing I bought when I got more Shugu, because I ran out of Shugu because I use it so often.
What was that? What was that victim's name?
Yeah, exactly. No, I bought some tape, some tent, tape to fix an awning, a pop-up awning. And I'm fixing this thing rather than buying a whole new one, a whole $120 new awning. I'm like, I think I'm gonna put a little energy into this.
I think the fact that you have the talent and ability to do it is like really great. Like I always want to fix things too, and then what I end up doing is making more problems, and then having to call someone and say, can you help me fix this that I have now broken in more places than was originally broken?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do that too. And eventually if you got to throw it out, you got to throw it out, but let it last a little while. I don't know. It's probably my grandfather's influence.
I love that.
Like just of a different generation where things weren't so disposable.
Right. I know. I mean, like when you were talking about, shoes being more expensive and not well made anymore, I was thinking about furniture.
Yeah, same.
It's like mostly particle board now. Yeah. If you find something that's like real wood, is a rarity.
Yeah.
It's just, and yet it's as expensive as if it were real, like,
right.
Artisan made or something.
Yeah.
So this is a Santa Clarita story I think you'll get a kick out of. So this area here, there used to be a 2-drawer legal filing cabinet that was Mark's.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of, it was a heavy wood thing, and it had those racks or slats inside where you could put legal folders. And
right.
I mean, it was, well made for what it was, but he just threw a bunch of cords in there. It was just a bunch of recording cords. So he had something set against the bottom drawer, and I never understood why till I moved that, and then the drawer would slide out. So it was like off center. Okay. So I was like, at one point, I'm just like, I need to get rid of that because it's useless. And then I can put, stuff in here, give Joshua and I a little more room and be more useful. So I tried to move it because I'm extraordinarily stubborn. And I was like, I can't do this myself. So when Daniel is around, I go, hey, look, can you help me move this? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, so it's, like team lift, it's heavy. So he, grabs a hold of it. And I go, okay, here, let me get this side and let me help you. And he goes, no offense. And I go, no offense. The moment you say that, I'm going to be offended. What the fuck are you going to say? Are you going to tell me like to shut the fuck up or something? And he goes, no, why would I say that? And I go, I don't know, because you're a crab ass. And he goes, no, I was going to say it's not that heavy. And I go, I'm Joshua. I go, Daniel, it is heavy. It needs 2 of us. He goes, no, it doesn't. So he's so like patient and kind. So he's, dragging it out of this room. And then I go, put it on the runner. And then we could just push it. Slide it across. So we did that. And then we get to the top of the steps, which my staircase is circular. So that makes a lot of fun for shit too. And I go, let me get, on one side or get down to the bottom or the top or something. And he goes, you can direct me. And I go, Daniel, please let me help you. And he goes, you can. You just direct me to make sure I'm not going to hit anything. I'm like, he picks it up under his fucking arm and carries it down the steps. And I'm like, you are more stubborn than I am. And he goes, nope, that's not possible. And I go, yeah. Yes. So then you're going to love this story. So it's not much longer, I promise. So we put it on the porch and it's very, very heavy. So I go, leave it here. And he goes, okay. He said, I have a furniture dolly at work. I'll bring it tomorrow and I'll move it down to the sidewalk. Cause I go, I'm just going to put it down on the sidewalk with this sign that says free to a good or bad home, which is what I put on all my, and in parentheses, I put needs feet on the bottom. Cause once we lifted it up, I figured out there were 3 feet missing and there's 1 foot, and they aren't just like little feet you could take off. They were like drilled in with a long, it was it was a well-made piece of wooden furniture, office furniture that was awkward and uncomfortable. No, I didn't need it. So it's on the front porch. I get up the next morning and it's down on the street. Yeah. And I text Daniel and I say, I guess your name is now Dolly. So hello, Dolly, furniture Dolly. I go, I can't believe you did that yourself. And he goes, I couldn't sleep. Like I couldn't I was up thinking about how am I going to get it down? And he just fucking moved it himself. Oh my God.
I can't sleep with this on the porch.
Yep.
I got to get up and go do it.
If I think I have OCD, he has me like topped. So that was the week, Thursday before Valentine's Day, the Thursday before Labor Day. Okay. So I put the sign on it on Friday, thinking Friday people are going to be here. Sure. Saturday, pouring rain.
Oh, that was the weekend it was raining.
Pouring rain. Leaves are on it. Every now and then I go pick a leaf off. Sunday, Monday is Labor Day. I get up Tuesday morning. It's gone. Oh, okay. Somebody took it on Labor Day. Some poor sap took a filing cabinet that had been out. I don't give a shit. Okay. They could be storing shoe goo in there made out of victims. I don't give a shit.
Well, good.
It's gone.
Okay, good.
I know. Who would take? Never mind. I can't. I don't want to judge.
No, I mean, I think there's a good amount of people who would say, okay, I'm going to spend, $20 in
put new feet on
whatever, and then
polish it up. But it was out in the rain.
Well,
I mean,
maybe.
Okay, it's fine. I hope that it's the good or bad family. I don't care. I hope they were able to. To me, it would be like a really good thing to have in your garage.
Sure, and maybe that's where they're at.
and just shove shit in it. Like
Yeah.
Mark shoved cords in it.
Yeah.
At one time it had legal folders and files, and now it's in someone's house, and hopefully it's not, being used to store shoe goo made out of victims. Or maybe it is. Did you pick it up?
You checked out to make sure there wasn't a false bottom with
I did.
evidence. Okay.
I did.
All right.
I believe me, sir. I know I can say this and we can laugh now. I can't believe Sunday's going to be 2 years since Mark died. But after he died, I went through a lot of his stuff thinking, please God, please don't let me find that he had a second family or, like a side piece or, and so far I have found nothing terrible. So I think I'm good. I hope.
I think after 2 years, you're
we can hope so. Yeah. I still yell at him every day for leaving me, but I guess he didn't really plan it. Maybe he did. No, he didn't. Wonder if he knew. No, he didn't. I have to stop.
He couldn't have.
No.
Come on now.
Yeah, I know. I can still be mad at him, but thank goodness, knock wood, he didn't have any kids I didn't know about or side hustles that I also didn't know about. I haven't found any evidence, and I went through his office at his office building and his office here. Although, we still have some stuff, but he was such a keeper of records. That big binder is when he was audited by the IRS in 1996.
And he's still got
all the records. I think he kept better records than the IRS, which is so funny because he was a, an independent contractor at the time and also had the record label.
Right.
And he showed every receipt and and they were telling him he owed some huge amount of money. And it turned out he owed zero.
Nice. Good.
And the auditor was like, these are the best records. And that was him. He was definitely the record keeper dude. So, and me, I just throw shit everywhere.
Cool.
I have no records. Yeah. I'm like, do I have a birth certificate? I don't know. I guess I can order the 17th one because I've ordered them and then I don't know. I perhaps use them as toilet paper because I forget. I don't know.
I thought I was the proof of my birth.
Well, not with the alien DNA. Yeah. I don't know that there's really any proof. All right. So this story is a fascinating one, and it was sent to us by Tipster Michelle. And she has sent us some of the more fascinating cases. But I got to tell you, Michelle, I feel like you knocked it out of the ballpark with this one because it's so weird. And if you think the Manson family was dysfunctional, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Being an only child, and my mom is an only child, I have a very insular experience of family and extended family. And I have adopted people and they have adopted me. And I feel like a chosen family is sometimes, I don't want to say better, but I'm going to say better. Sometimes can be closer than biology, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the most fucked up family situation I have ever heard. Oh, no. And I feel like it's gotta be a mixture of ego and grief. It has to be. There's just no other. I don't even know. And the outcome, the twists and turns, this is so fucking crazy. So this is the case of Shirley Carter from Lacona, Iowa. And June 19th of 2015, Shirley is found shot to death in her home by her son, by her oldest son, Jason. So she has 3 children. She has Jason, she has Jana, and then she has, I guess, Billy Jr., her husband, Bill. They'd been married for 48 years. Okay. Now, I'm going to read you the lineup of what happened, Joshua, and it took me a while. I feel like sometimes I'm a little slow. It took me a while to come up with another scenario, and then I'm like, wait, why the fuck wasn't this? There's nobody's saying nothing about this. It's just so ugly when you hear. Okay. So Jason Carter. Now let me start a little further back. Bill Carter, Shirley's husband of 48 years. They live on a farm and they have, I guess, a pretty healthy, vital farm and estate of about $5 million. he and his son both do side jobs hauling corn for other people. I guess they have corn, crops. And so they do this side job. So on the morning of June 19th, Bill says he and his wife went out for coffee, which was a pretty common thing that they did.
Okay.
And he drops her back at the house and then runs to do a delivery of corn. And I guess he actually owns an 18-wheeler.
Got it.
It's not like a small amount of corn. It's sizable.
Big corn. Okay.
And he tells his wife he'll be back between 11 and 11:30.
Okay.
He gets a call from his daughter. And he's already on the way back home. But his daughter says, Jason found mom deceased. Bill gets home before the police are there. Bill's statement is that he gets to his house. His son, Jason, is outside pacing in front of the house on his cell phone. He goes in and finds his wife. He said it looked like she was sleeping, and he lifted her up and kissed her. Now, shortly after, the police arrive and they make everyone leave the house. It doesn't take long before things really split apart in this family. And 6 months later, Bill files a civil lawsuit against his son saying he killed his wife.
Oh, whoa.
Right. She was shot twice in the back.
Oh, shit.
And I have the caliber here somewhere. I'll find it. And I know you'll be able to help me because I never know the caliber. There are the Des Moines Register did a phenomenal job of covering this over the years, because let me tell you, it's a lot to cover because a lot of shit happened. I guess it was a shotgun, shot in the back twice with a shotgun.
Okay.
There is a gun safe in the basement, and according to Bill, only one gun is missing, and it's a shotgun of this caliber.
Okay.
He provides shell casings, which I don't understand how these things work, Joshua, but they say they match the shell casings of what would have killed Shirley.
Yeah, shotguns are like when you're talking about a bullet, you can actually look at the ballistics of the bullet.
Right.
But a shotgun it's a case with shot inside, little tiny balls.
Right.
So it doesn't leave the same kind of muzzle.
Got it.
All of
markings
that you could do ballistic testing.
Okay.
So basically you don't have as much that you can prove with.
Okay.
Like you can say, okay, you could tell the gauge and the range kind of thing, but that's kind of it.
Okay.
It's not as conclusive as one specific, handgun would be.
Gotcha. Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I found it very weird. So there's so much supposition in this case. It's like, and there's so many reasons why things went the way they went and why people thought that what they did. But there's also, in my mind, it's like you're building you're building a castle. You're creating what you think happened. And it's like, well, maybe, but also maybe like aliens came down and shot her. I mean, it's like none of this is conclusive. So Bill says, one shotgun is missing from my gun safe. I've read two different things, but I think what happened is someone took his statement and tried to make it fact. The weapon was never found.
Oh, okay.
Bill said his theory is that his son hid the weapon somewhere on the property until after the heat was off and they'd opened back up the house, and then he came and got it and took it somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay, maybe. The gun is never found. There's the actual weapon is never found. So saying these shells match the shells that killed her, it wasn't like some rare type of gun, just so you know. And I promise somewhere in here I have, I guess it was a rifle. Does that make sense? I don't know what that means. It's just like a long gun.
It was a rifled shotgun.
It says a rifle was missing. I guess.
Okay. I think that's probably just somebody referring to the shotgun as a rifle.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know the difference.
Well, I think that's just verbiage interchange.
Okay.
That's just somebody not being specifically technical. I would imagine the writer.
Because there's so much in my mind supposition. I don't know how a family turns against each other like this, especially when alternate scenarios have been, you know, I get it why something may look one way and you maybe have some doubt, but how do you turn against your child?
Yeah.
When your motive for what he did was pretty thin. I mean, it's, and all of it again is like supposition. Everything is, okay. So the house was ransacked and drawers pulled out and turned over. It's, you know, theories are it was made to look like a robbery, but wasn't a robbery.
Oh, it was ransacked before police got there.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the police. It was ransacked.
Got it.
So there's, you know, it's like we need, you know, Bill, of course, was asked to leave the house because he's there like holding his wife and attempting to kiss her and saying it looked like she was asleep. So the only thing that he says is missing is the gun from the gun case. The only thing he says is missing in the house. Now, there is some sort of a disagreement. Jason, the son, says, I didn't know he had a gun case in his basement. And Bill says, you gave it to me as a present.
Yeah, come on now.
You gave me the gun case as a present. You and your mother together.
Right. Yeah. Come on now. You know.
I don't know.
Like,
look, I don't know. Wait do you hear? This is so ugly. This is the ugliest family story. I mean, we've heard some ugly shit. This is the most contentious. So ugly.
Wow.
It feels like this has to be about something else. And I'll tell you, I think you're going to change your mind when you hear some stuff here.
Okay.
So Shirley's purse was there. All of her credit cards were there, $140 in her purse. And then there was a wallet, a envelope on the bedroom dresser that contained $1,700 bills. So $1,700.
Wow.
So yeah.
Just sitting there out in the open. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, Bill is like, yeah, the only thing I couldn't check was my gun safe. And then he's like, that's the only thing missing was this gun. Now, here's a very interesting thing. I don't know the exact time that Jason found his mom. I'm guessing it was a little bit later in the morning because Bill said he'd be home between 11 and 11:30 and he was already on his way home.
Okay.
There is a lot of speculation as to what happened. Jason called his sister first and then called 911. When you find your mom in a pool of blood on the floor, I don't know how you're going to react.
Yeah,
when it's clear, right? When it's clear she's gone.
Yeah.
Because in his words, she's gone.
Right.
Maybe you don't call 911 first because you know there's no life-saving to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like that, I don't know how I would react either. But yeah, I don't think that.
3 minutes after he apparently entered the home, called his sister, and then he called 911. So it wasn't like an hour later.
Yeah, there's plenty of things where I'm
panicking
and I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
I'm going to call my brother. He'll have ideas. He'll help me talk this out.
Right.
Yeah, that seems like it could line up. Fine.
Okay.
To me,
me too.
I can see where people are like, oh my gosh, that means something, but I don't buy that means anything.
Right. So, officials said that Shirley Carter was shot sometime between 7 a.m. and noon. Now, it's a little after 11 when, her son finds her and calls and her husband makes it back. She's been dead for a couple hours. Her husband said they had coffee earlier and he dropped her off around 7.
Okay.
So,
all right.
After what has happened to Shirley, Bill provides officers with, he says, bullets fired from the rifle. So it was a rifle, not a shotgun?
Okay, now I'm confused.
And they match those recovered from Shirley's body.
Yeah. Okay. If there were bullets, then there were bullets now. Okay.
So this is why there's several things reported that, Bill says law enforcement promised him that there would be an arrest coming soon. He said at least 3 times they promised him. Bill makes 2 suicide attempts.
Oh.
Interesting, huh? He accuses officials of bungling evidence, saying they gathered things incorrectly and that there will be facts that will come out during a trial that will implicate these officers. Now, his son, Jason, was friends with the sheriff.
Okay.
And he says they just did not look at his son close enough. Now, the sheriff ends up recusing himself because he's friends.
Okay.
And other investigators say, we ran down everything we could.
Yeah.
The Marion County Sheriff's name is also Jason Sandholt, who's had been a friend of Jason Carter's his whole life.
Okay.
We're talking about a small town, right? So Bill says, my son used the rifle from my basement safe to kill his mother. He hid it on the property and then retrieved it days later before authorities even knew it was missing. Now, this is odd and makes me, there's so many inconsistencies here. I have a theory, and this doesn't help my theory. Bill spent over $100,000 hiring an attorney and a private investigator to try and prove that his son killed his mother. 6 months after his wife is murdered, he files a civil suit against his son.
Okay.
A wrongful death suit in January of 2016. He says the reason we decided to file is because we were afraid there would never be any justice for Shirley. So he's always about I need to get justice for my wife. That's his only focus, so much so that he says his son killed his wife. So his theories are his son killed his wife because he was having financial troubles and wanted to get his $5 million of farmland. Now, here's how you get $5 million of farmland. Both your parents die.
Both.
And you're splitting it with 2 siblings.
Yeah.
He also says, and all of this is just, he says Jason was having an extramarital affair and that his wife found out somehow and confronted him, and then he killed her because of that.
Oh, the mom finds out. Okay.
Bill Carter goes on WHO-TV, Channel 13 in Des Moines, and says, I still love my son, but I have to have justice for my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Methinks he doth protest too much?
I'm so confused by this case. I can't even. So December 15th of 2017, a Marion County jury sides with Bill Carter and says Jason Carter should pay $10 million to his mother's estate.
Oh, wow.
So now a civil lawsuit like what, O.J. Simpson and Robert Blake, you get found guilty and they say it's 51% of probability that you're responsible for the person's death.
Oh, okay.
That's all they have to prove.
Preponderance of evidence?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, he's ordered to pay $10 million to his mother's estate for killing her. 2 days later, an Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation charged Jason for first-degree murder for killing his mother because of the civil trial.
Okay.
He goes on trial. Now, first of all, I should also say, it took 2 hours for the jury to find him guilty in the civil trial. 2 hours.
Okay.
He goes on trial for first-degree murder. They move it to a different county because of the pretrial publicity.
Sure.
And here's another thing, Joshua. It says she suffered from gunshot wounds from a medium caliber rifle.
All right. So there is a rifle.
Okay. Yeah. He goes on trial. And after a short deliberation, 2 hours, the jury finds him in March of 2019 not guilty of killing his mother.
Wow. Okay.
Not guilty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The entire time, Bill Carter is saying, I just want justice for my wife. And there's more. This is a longer thing than I can even tell you. There's Jason tried to vacate the civil trial judgment. He tried to vacate the judgment for the civil trial.
After it was already judged.
Yeah.
There's a $10 million judgment, and then he tried to motion to vacate it's there, but I'm not going to pay it.
Right.
Yeah.
That was overturned. So he's still ordered to pay $10 million to his mother's estate.
Right.
He tried again after his acquittal. They still upheld that.
Wow.
I know. I'm like, I don't understand anything. The Iowa Supreme Court affirmed the judgment saying, nope, he still has to pay $10 million to his mother's estate.
Wow.
It's okay. So his wife testifies in his criminal trial and says, I was so upset and I doubted everything after I found out he was having an affair. He was released on...
he actually was having an affair?
He was.
Okay.
He was released on $100,000 bail, and he came up with that. So how bad can his finances be?
Yeah.
So he came up with bail. He was out before his criminal trial. His wife testifies and said, we went to counseling and we've worked on that. I did the books. Farmers know what it's like to live feast and famine.
Sure.
We had financial difficulties, but we also had projections of what was coming in. We were going to be fine.
Yeah.
His father's theory that he killed his mother as a combination of, I was having an affair. I was having an affair. My mom found out and she's going to tell my wife. And then also financial issues.
Yeah.
You'd have to kill your dad.
Right.
You live right down the street from them and you know their habits and their schedule.
Right.
Why not kill them both when they're both home?
Yeah.
If that's your plan.
Right. Yeah. To risk something happening.
Right.
When, risk exactly what this was.
Right. Bill's other theory is that Jason did not get along with his own mother and that he wanted to work with him. So with Shirley out of the way, they could work together.
I love my dad so much.
I have to kill my mom because she's too close to him and I need to be.
Wow.
But yet he's going to be the one who files,
Electra complex kind of shit.
Yeah. He's going to be the one to file charges against me. I mean, I think it's fascinating that an expert testified and said when she was found, she had been dead at least a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why no one, there's nothing that's come out. Why the fuck wasn't Bill the primary suspect?
Yeah, how was he not a suspect? Like, that's...
I don't know. I can find nothing. And I found court records. Again, the Des Moines Register did a great job, but there are other outlets. Why no one has said Bill was cleared, Bill was vetted, Bill was here in his truck at this time. Instead of taking her to coffee, what if Bill shot her in their fucking house and then went about his day, driving corn?
Doing the corn thing, yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, where is the evidence that, his alibi? Like, yeah. His cell phone record that pinged whatever towers far away or something, right? Like,
yeah. I don't know.
That's easy enough to find, isn't it?
One would think, Now comes the jailhouse informant.
Okay.
A jailhouse informant said 2 brothers who were known to do these kind of in-home robberies. One of the brothers confessed to him and said, my brother and I were in the middle of a home robbery to get things to sell, to buy drugs, and we were surprised, and my brother shot the woman.
Oh.
And we got in such a fight, I tried to beat him with a baseball bat.
Still there, or?
I don't know where. Maybe later on. It's the Followwill brothers, Followwill.
Okay.
Joel and John Followwill kind of admitted killing Shirley Carter in the midst of a robbery. It was not their MO. Maybe one of them held her while the other one went and got the gun out of the gun safe. I don't know.
Oh. Sure, but how do you miss a big envelope of cash on the dresser, and how do you not go through the purse for...
Very great questions.
Yeah.
The jailhouse informant said, apparently there was a whole bunch of stuff there you missed. Yeah. We weren't looking for that. We were looking for things we could sell for money for drugs, and then we got interrupted.
I hear you could buy drugs with cash. What?
But if you're a dumb druggie,
I guess. Okay.
I mean, I don't think these are the smartest people in the world. What's fascinating to me is that 12 people brought these 2 guys' names to law enforcement.
Oh, and they were never questioned?
Nope.
Oh.
12 people.
My gosh. Huh.
12 reports of these guys. Hey, you know what? I think you got to check out these guys. There was some stuff said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? I'm like, so this jailhouse informant says the brothers had a falling out because John shot Shirley and Joel was pissed at him, and then they got in a fight with a baseball bat. So that must have been later. There was also a third guy that was with them named Matt when they did this burglary. Matt actually also confirmed that they did this. So there's all of these people who, are saying, whether it's just hearsay or not. Mm-hmm. It's so fascinating to me. So she shot in the back twice. To me, maybe you're turning around to run out of the house, or maybe you're turning around to call 911 or something. I mean, I don't know how any of this could have happened, did happen, but she shot in the back. So the first shot nicked her heart. The second shot just disintegrated it.
Wow.
Just completely blew it up. I mean, I think it's so, interesting to me that there were other options, other suspects. And, to say that things were not going to be solved because your son is friends with the Marion County Sheriff, and then find out later there were other suspects that the Marion County Sheriff did not look at. How does that prove that your son got special treatment? I mean, the whole thing is so fucked up, to the point where this kills me. On Shirley's tombstone, it says parents of Jana and Billy. They don't even put Jason on the tombstone.
No.
I'm telling you, this is so acrimonious.
Wow.
What I feel like Bill's ego is so big, he couldn't possibly ever admit to maybe being wrong. Okay?
Wow, yeah.
So there was a lot of rumors that Bill is very controlling.
Okay.
There were rumors that Shirley was going to leave him even after 48 years of marriage. Again, all rumors. Don't know if any of that's true. But here's something I can tell you is true. In July of 2020, the youngest son, Billy, was arrested on charges that he had assaulted their father, Bill.
Oh, wow.
Bill Carter in 2020 was 74 years old. And he was found on the side of the road injured.
Oh, just beat up and then left him on the side of the road.
Yes.
Huh.
Now, things were brought up by Jason's defense team in his criminal trial that Bill was very controlling. So apparently, and this really kind of bears that out, Bill and Billy got into a fight at Bill's home. Billy was so upset, he left the house on foot, walking away from a fight with his 74-year-old father.
Okay.
A few minutes later, Billy said Bill caught up with him, parked the truck in front of him, got out to fight with him in the road, and Billy kicked the shit out of his dad.
Sure.
Left him on the ground and walked away.
Wow.
And then Bill is found on the side of the road, and they arrest Billy. Yeah. And now there's a restraining order issued between both of them.
Oh, okay.
On each other.
Mutual. Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, and maybe every state's different, but don't you think Billy could have only been arrested if his father insisted on pressing charges?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's easier if you have it's easier to push charges forward if you have the witness, the only other witness there. But I do know some law enforcement will push charges forward even
if you say no, or it was an accident or tripped or fell or whatever. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. You don't need to that press charges, but it's certainly helpful. Okay. Especially if you're the only two there and that's it.
I think it's
in the middle of the road.
Yes, and by the time I guess someone finds him or calls and says Bill Carter's on the side of the road beat up, Billy's walked off.
Right.
Billy's not there. And the thing is, they questioned Billy and he admitted. He was like, I kicked the shit out of my dad and left him on the side of the road.
Yeah. All right. So you don't if you got a confession, you don't need any witnesses.
To me, I guess I just don't understand how law enforcement works. And again, maybe it's different in every city or state. To me, if you went to the sheriff's office and said, Melissa kicked the shit out of me, and they show up here and they say, did you kick the shit out of Joshua? And I would go, yeah, he was pissing me off. Unless you said press charges. Would they still press charges?
I mean, it really depends on the detective that pushes it for, and then the DA who's going to go do it. I don't know that there's a set thing.
Okay.
Like I even location based. I think it's just
case by case, maybe
case and who you're talking to. Yeah.
Okay. So Joshua, let's just say you come home and one of the boys says, "I found mom on the floor with 2 gunshot wounds in her back." and you have such an acrimonious relationship with him that you file a civil suit, which you win, and then they file a criminal suit, which you lose because your son is acquitted.
Right.
And then a second son, 3 years later, gets in a fight with you and beats the shit out of you and leaves you on the side of the old road. And you now have one child left that you're in communication with. Does any of that seem like maybe you have a problem?
Yeah.
Or does it all just your kids are shitty? Like your kids are murderers and abusers?
My buddy George used to say, if everyone in the room is an asshole, you're probably the asshole.
Yeah, I agree with George to some extent. I mean, we can all find ourselves in situations where we're like, wow, some of these people are really shitty. I don't have kids. I'm an only child. I don't have that experience. I can't imagine being a parent and I get being so grief filled if you didn't do it, that you think one of your kids killed your spouse. I get that. Yeah. Being so vehement that you file a civil suit against them because you think there'll be no criminal charges filed, which then there are. Your son is acquitted by a jury to the same amount of time deliberating for the civil trial, 2 hours. 2 hours. And it's like the state did not meet their burden of proof. They did not prove to me that Jason killed his mother. Right. And then your youngest son, named after you, gets in a fight with you and has enough of whatever it is to walk away. And you chase him in your car to fight with him on the side of the road. He kicks the shit out of you. And then your son assault charges are filed against your second son. And you have restraining orders against each other. Yeah. Now, do you think his daughter planned all this? So she's the last one standing?
She's going to inherit the farm?
And I'm just kidding because I don't know poor Jana. But I can tell you, when I think I've heard of some dysfunctional families, what do you think about this?
Yeah. Thanksgiving's going to be fun.
It is a good time.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I can't help but wonder, how has Bill totally escaped any sort of... To me, it's Bill.
Yeah. I mean, you just laid all it out. And not to say that the kids didn't inherit some of his assholeness, but yeah,
Jason's still married,
the innocent one,
and has kids.
Oh, wow. That's good though. So they reconciled. They figured.
She testified on his behalf and made apparently an extremely compelling witness. She, said I was so devastated after I found out about the affair, and we, went to counseling and we've worked it out. It took time. Also, as far as the motive of him getting money, which he wouldn't get unless his dad died. How much financial trouble could they be in? When she does the books and said, yeah, we were low on funds at the time, but we knew what was coming in from the crops. It had been a really good year. Plus, we had enough money for him to post bail. Right. I don't, it feels like all of the motives that Bill was pushing so hard kind of are thin. Right. I don't know that the Follow Will brothers did this or had any, but maybe. We know Bill might be controlling if he chases his adult son down, Right. Totally. His son walks away. His son is like, I'm having and who knows what the discussion was about.
Sure. Yeah. So, well, it doesn't really even matter.
It doesn't. You're right.
They're having some sort of an argument.
Obviously, what I thought is it's about his mom's murder and saying Jason didn't do it.
It could be that, or
that's in my mind.
It could be, somebody didn't do the dishes correctly. Like, who knows what? But it was heated enough to where he said, "Forget it. I'm going to walk home.
I'm walking away. I'm walking away from you, my father."
Yeah.
Instead of wanting to punch you. I want to punch you now and you want to punch me. I'm walking away.
Right. And which tells me that he got a ride there somehow because he didn't get in his car and drive home.
Right.
He started to walk home. So probably his dad picked him up to bring him there.
Maybe.
Or somebody else dropped him off
Right.
or whatever. He didn't drive.
Right.
And then after he beat him up, he continued to walk.
Uh-huh.
So he got a ride somehow and then said, forget this. I'm gonna hike it. Like, I don't even need to wait. I'm not gonna wait for an Uber.
To me,
I'm gonna walk. That's heated.
Well, you may not even have ability to get an Uber in the middle of tiny town Iowa, but
or call whoever dropped you off, or wait till it cools down because it was your dad who gave you the ride.
To me, it shows restraint.
Sure.
You're not reactive and you're not controlling. You are like, I am very upset and angry at this person who also happens to be my father. I'm walking away before things get more out of hand than they are.
Right.
Bill can't let it go.
Right.
Chases his adult son.
Yeah.
Continues the argument. And Billy is like, well, okay.
Right.
Fuck around and find out, Daddy.
He found out.
Yeah.
He found out.
I never liked corn. Maybe that's what they're fighting over. Yeah. I like creamed corn. I like niblets.
They were fighting over that TikTok song from.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's corn.
Yeah. Oh no.
It's got the juice. Yeah. I've really, I mean, come on. I'm from Kentucky. I've known some fucked up families in Kentucky and California, across the country. I have friends who have, families that are difficult. I used to say to Mark all the time, you're so fucking lucky I'm an orphan. You don't have a whole bunch of, I mean, I get it. I'm a lot to handle. But you don't have a bunch of periphery shit going on.
Sure.
I understand. I see things, and it becomes more clear to me the older I get that a chosen family is a remarkable thing. Yeah, sometimes absolutely. Getting to choose your family that is maybe not related to you by biology is a gift. I just have never. I've heard of family doing some shitty things to each other, including hurting or killing each other. But this feels weird because they're still alive.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it just feels so like I must have retribution. And it no longer feels like I must have retribution for my wife's death. It feels like I must make someone pay, or someone must be punished. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much more.
Yeah.
Deeper wounds, deeper stuff going on. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel to me like it's all about Shirley's murder. Like there's other stuff.
Absolutely.
And we may never know. And, yeah. But I am going to say, if you know anything about what happened to Shirley Carter that day, please call the Marion County Sheriff's Office at 641-828-2200. You can also call anonymously a Crime Stoppers number for Central Iowa at 515-223-1400. And remember, you can always call us at 832-847-7837. That's 832-Tipster. And you can email us at jttipsters@gmail.com. You can find us on any of the social media platforms, just the Tipsters Facebook page, at JT Tipsters on Instagram, at JT Tipsters Pod on Twitter, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.